And then I also tried to encourage our INEC officials to ensure to the best of their, capability that what happened in Bauchi does not happen again. Our law enforcement officers too can begin to look at these coppers, as I said, as the babies of the house. Worst case scenario, nothing should happen to them.
Ambassador, what are your thoughts, your immediate thoughts concerning the safety of our core members out there?
Well, yesterday the INEC chairman and the Director General of NYSC have assured the Nigerian public that the NYSC participants in this electoral process will be safe and will be secure. So I think I rest on that assurance. And I believe that the NYSC will perform creditably also in the election because of the type of orientation that has been given to them. So I think there is no cause for alarm, and they should be protected from any form of embarrassment or any form of post-election violence. I believe this time around we will not have that, but they should be properly secure, and they themselves will conduct themselves in the best way possible, in keeping with the tradition of the NYSC.
Well, anyway, Ambassador, we have to, we'll come back to you, but I really have to, well, let people in on what exactly is happening, because a couple of messages coming in, and, well, we'll be taking their messages pretty soon, but we have to remind them of the hashtag, which is Nigeria 2015. And for Mohammed Ibrahim, he says, his polling unit in Funtua in Katsina State, the voters are there already, but no INEC officials in sight. And for Stephen, he's saying, well, he's there, and well, he's visited his polling booth and his local government, and no, he's also talking about his PVC. Well, we're talking about those who are ready and moving now as we speak. Now, basically, back to you, Ambassador, the way this is for you, the kind of excitement you have already shown in you is the same we have seen from the observers, especially those from the EU, the ECOWAS. We spoke with, by the way, President Kufuor was on the program yesterday, and we spoke with him live, and he shared the same kind of excitement and enthusiasm towards this particular process. Looking at the continent, I go back knowing full well that you served in Liberia as our ambassador there. What can this tell you about a process where everyone has harped the biggest of importance, saying for Nigerians and those other African nations, this election means a lot for them? In breaking it down for the layman, when we say it is important to even those outside the country, what does that mean?
Well, democracy and good governance is the mantra of the international community. As you know, that there is nothing better than democracy. And for democratic governance, which we all know is the only way that can make us develop. Having said that, the basic ingredients of democracy is the question of choice. If people have a choice, elections are credible, fair, free, and acceptable, and that is the global practice. So this is the general international consensus. And Nigeria has, because of our relation and the leadership role we play in Africa and the globe, we are part of the international democratic community. And whatever we do must conform with international best practices and good governance in elections. And as we know, democracy itself will usher in development, partnership, and all forms of things you expect to do. So I believe that this is important. There is nothing better than democracy. We must jealously guide it and make it work. And as Nigeria is a beacon of hope to all nations in Africa and the world, and even the black in the diaspora, we have the largest reservation of blacks. They look up to us, especially the ones in diaspora. Nigerians in diaspora also, and in many countries where we have these best practices and things are moving. So we should not be an exception. So that is part of the interest that this election has generated. And also, this is also to show that Nigeria has been transiting from what will I say, civilian transition seamlessly. This is what we want. And our concern is that this election will further put Nigeria in the global importance. That is the expectation of all Nigerians, both at home and abroad, and also the international community that are our strategic partners.
Well, Ambassador Adigun, we'll come back to you. Let me very quickly welcome GT Ogunye. He's a legal practitioner. He's just joined us. Good morning and thanks for joining us. It's a big moment and it's a great day. Coming to the studios, what were you thinking when you saw maybe some people trooping out of their homes? Did you see anyone trooping out?
I didn't see people troop out, but
well, anyway, it all depends on where you live. If it's a quiet area, then... I
did see people coming out, security agents already deployed in their smart dress, and people just trekking, moving towards polling areas generally. And for me, that signifies that Nigerians are very eager, very prepared and ready to participate in this process. This is a date that Nigeria have been waiting for, and it's a momentous occasion for Nigeria. We hope that things will go well today, and that Nigeria will continue to move forward. This 16 years, the 16th year and counting, that's very significant.
You know, movement of persons is another thing. How can you relate to that? We've seen so many people, even if they lived in a locality, for instance, you stay in one axis of a place, let's take Surulere for instance, and you have so many streets away from where you live, and for some it's not a trekking distance for them, and the law says no movement of persons between the hours of 8 and 5.
Well, I understand the challenges that people who want to participate in this process are facing right now. The people who have moved from where they used to live and who are not able to have their
PVCs?
No, who are not able to have their name removed from the register from where they
to their new locations.
To their new locations and all that. That's one aspect of the challenges that we're talking about. There are also people whose point of registration in the first instance is a little bit far from where they live ordinarily. Because don't forget, during the registration exercise, there are a lot of challenges too, just as we've recorded now. There are people who aren't able to register so proximate to where they live. There are people who register where or in the surroundings of where they work, and so on and so forth. There's such people. And so those areas are the areas where they're expected to vote on voting day. And so moving from where they live, which certainly would be quite a distance to where they work and where they register. So we have all sorts of such problems. But what I can see is determination on the part of the people and encouraging this process to work until such a time when we get to the point we're able to move from this combination of a little bit of what is electronic and what is digital and what is analog to full electronic voting, which for now is prohibited by Section 52(2) of the Electoral Act. And so when such a time arrives, people can vote anywhere, and movement would not be that restricted, really, because if you go elsewhere, in other climes, Britain, United States, it's seamless. You know, you just vote and go to work. And, you know, this kind of lockdown does not occur, but we're where we are, and we hope that we'll get to a better place, certainly in the future.
What are your expectations? We know that accreditation has already started. Earlier on, we were speaking to Nick Westcott, that's the MD Africa operations for the Observer Mission here in Nigeria, and he was quite excited also that this has gotten underway and he'll be observing some areas. But the major question I'm looking at is how we cover the whole country as one. As a whole, including the areas where we have some uncertainty in Nigeria's northeast, talking about Borno State, Yobe State, and Adamawa, those areas. What are your immediate impressions? Will the people there be encouraged?
Sorry to cut you there, Gimba. We'll come back to GT. These are live feeds. We'll go back to them again. Live feeds will come in. Well, we're getting from Daura in Katsina State. Accreditation is already on, as you can see. These are live feeds at the moment with the INEC officials, as well as some observers you can see amongst them, monitors, as well as journalists covering this particular process. As we earlier highlighted in the morning at the start of the show, that our team in Katsina are already on the ground, and we got a couple of pictures from people tweeting at us that, well, this is what exactly is happening. A little earlier, before you came, Mr. Ogunye, we were speaking with Chukma Onekuse, as Gimba rightly pointed out. That hasn't started there, but this is what is happening in Daura at the moment. Gimba, back to you.
Which is also in the north. Daura is in the north, as you know, in Katsina State. But let me just zero in, as I asked you earlier, about your concerns with relation to those states, Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states, and the displaced people that are there today, their chances of seeing through to this process.